Hello everyone, good morning. Today I'm going to teach you on how to use the copy command in the Snowflake. So this is how to use copy command for data loading in Snowflake. Using copy command for data load Snowflake. Snowflake's copy command is the main method for loading the data file from the different storage. We are going to load the data from files stored in the stages, internal or external stage, into the database tables. It is fast, parallelized, and supports structured, semi-structured, and compressed data. Let us understand how it works, its syntax, and best practices. So, what exactly the copy command does? We are going to receive the source file from different sources. It can be the CSV file, Excel file, JSON, Avro, Parquet. And it will be from the external cloud storage and the internal storage of the Snowflake. But from there, we should know how to load the data into the Snowflake data warehouse using this copy command. So this is the main method which is going to help us to load the data into the Snowflake data warehouse. It is fast. Parallelized means it helps us to load the data into the multiple tables at a time using the different copy commands. And it supports the structured data, semi-structured data, and compressed data. Whenever you are going to load the data into the Snowflake data warehouse, it should be in the compressed format, and it can be the structured or semi-structured data. Semi-structured data examples are JSON, Parquet, and Avro. Let us understand how it works, how it is going to work. So how we are going to connect the external stage or internal stage into this copy command. That is the first step. Next, how we are going to load the data into this Snowflake data warehouse using this copy command. These are the two steps you should be very clear. Let us understand its syntax. What is the syntax to do this and what are the best practices? Best practices means you should not load the bad data into the Snowflake data warehouse. So while in the copy command only, you should be filtering for what are the type of the file you are going to load and what is the file size you are going to use, whether it is compressed format or uncompressed format, and any validation has been done. All these things has to be taken care in the copy command itself. What is the copy command? Copy into loads data from staged files into the Snowflake table. Staged means it can be the internal stage or the external stage. It automatically handles parsing. What is parsing of the data? JSON data. Usually it does the parsing for the JSON data. It is in the form of the Python dictionary, file decompression and parallel loading. You are going to decompress the file and you are going to do the parallel loading into the database. File decompression means I am going to receive the file from the S3 bucket. So I have to decompress the file to take out all the files, and I have to compress the data inside the files so that it is getting loaded into the Snowflake data warehouse. The syntax is copy into table name from internal stage or external stage. File format is JSON or CSV. On error, continue. This command reads the files from the stage and insert the content into the specified table. So this is the command you have to follow to load the data into the Snowflake data warehouse. It's for the best practice, on error is equal to continue. It's better to avoid because if you have any important information for transformations, if that is not in the good format in the input data, it will be skipped while during the loading of the data. So better to go for the proper validation of the data using the copy command. While taking the course, you will be doing more in the reading about that in detail. Copy command example internal stage. You have uploaded CSV file into the internal stage. Now you are going to create the table for that CSV file. Now create a replace stage, my stage, file format is equal to CSV, field optionally enclosed by the double closed. So this is the copy command for internal stage. First you are going to upload the CSV file into the internal stage and then into the Snowflake table. So first thing is CSV file coming into the internal stage. From there it is moving to the Snowflake table. So for that first you have to create the stage and for this file format. So what is the file format? CSV file and field optionally close with the double quotes. Now copy into sales data from at my stage. This is the stage I created here. This is the internal stage I created. It will support only the CSV files. The fields will be enclosed by the double quotes. So from this internal stage, I am going to copy the data into the sales data. So sales data is a table I am creating. So there are three requirements. You are going to upload the CSV files into the internal stage. And from the internal stage, you are going to load the data into the Snowflake table. So for that, first you should have the CSV file, then you should have the sales data table, and then should have the internal stage. All has been done in this page. Coming to this next page, I am going to use the copy into command, which is going to load the data into the sales data table from at internal stage. File format is CSV, on error is equal to continue. Files are stored in the stage. Data is copied into sales data table. Bad rows are skipped instead of failing the load. To avoid failing the load, you are going to skip the bad rows. But see to that, you are not skipping the good rows as well in that. So copy command using the external stage. For this, I am going to create the external stage called S3 underscore stage URL, because this is the external stage. It will be connected to the cloud storage. That is why we have to provide URL S3 my bucket data. Credentials. To access this S3 bucket, we need the AWS credential, that is key ID and the secret key. And the file format is JSON. So what are the things for the external stage? First you create the stage, have the URL for this S3 bucket, then the credentials, that is AWS credentials for this S3 bucket, and then the file format, that is JSON file. Now you know, for creating the external stage for the external cloud storage, you need the URL, credentials and file format. Now coming into the copy into command, copy into this table from at external stage, file format type is JSON, on error is equal to skip file. If there is any error, it is not going to allow you to continue, it is going to skip the file. So this is the way how you are going to load the data using the copy command from the external stage. So copy command example, external stage using the S3. Snowflake reads JSON files directly from S3. Data is parsed and loaded automatically. Any files with error will be skipped. So what are the conditions? Snowflake reads the JSON files directly from the S3 bucket. Data is completely parsed and loaded automatically. You have parsed the data, that is because the JSON data, and it loaded automatically. Any files with error will be skipped. So difference between the copy command. File format defines the file type and the format. Type is CSV file. On error handles the bad data rows. Abort statement, continue, skip file. These are the three parameters you can give for the on error. Pattern is file filter the files by name, that is .csv. Validation mode checks data before loading, that return errors. You have to always check the data before loading, so that you are making sure that only the good data is coming to the Snowflake table, not the bad data. So you are going to check the data before loading and it is going to return the error. Purge, remove files after loading. So it is going to remove the files once the files got loaded into the Snowflake data warehouse. So these are the parameters you have to maintain in the copy command while loading the data into the Snowflake data warehouse. So copy command data loading process. Upload the files into the stage. First, either it should come to the internal stage or external stage. Then define the file format, CSV, JSON and Parquet. So define the file format of this. Execute the copy into command to the load the data. So you have to execute the copy into command. So that for this, whatever the files in the stages with this file format, it will be loaded the data into the Snowflake data warehouse, and you can validate the results using the select query. So what are the steps? First, upload the files into the internal or external stage. Then define the file format. Once the files are loaded into the internal or external stage, then define the file format. Execute the copy into command to load the data. Please execute the copy into command and validate the results using the select query. So these are the steps we have to follow. Flow diagram is local files to the stage to copy into table. If it is from external stage, cloud storage to stage, from there into copy into, then into table. So monitoring and validation. After loading the data, check what happened. Check the load history. Select star from table, information underscore schema dot load history. Go to your Snowflake load history, query history, and select this query. Select star from table, information underscore schema dot load underscore history. Using this query, you will be able to validate the number of row counts. Select count of the star from the sales data. So first using this select statement. What is the select statement? Select star from table, information underscore schema load history. Using the load history, you will come to know what are the files has been loaded from the stage to the Snowflake table. Next step, how many tables has got loaded? You have to check the number of the row counts. Partial validation before the loading, and then finally copy into sales data from the external or internal stage. Validation mode is equal to return errors. If there are any errors, it has to return that. This is the way how we are going to monitor and validate the data once it is loaded from the external or internal stage into the Snowflake data warehouse. Best practices. Always validate the file formats before loading. Please validate the file format, that is JSON, CSV, Excel, Parquet, Avro. If the file format is not good, you will not be successfully ending up with loading the data into the Snowflake data warehouse. Use on error is equal to continue for non-critical rows. Load in parallel for faster performance. Load the data parallelly so that the performance will be faster. Use on error is equal to continue for non-critical rows. Non-critical means that is not going to affect your business. That time only you can use the on error is equal to continue. As I said earlier in the previous slide, on error is equal to continue is not a good practice for the critical data. You will be losing the important data which is required for your transformation and processing. Use Snowflake for continuous loading automation. Compress the files for faster ingestion. So you want to do the data ingestion faster, please compress the input files. The size will be reduced using the Snowflake for automation. So these are the best practices. Summary. Copy into the main command to load the data from stages into table. Copy command is going to load the data from external or internal stage into the Snowflake table. Works with both internal and external stage. Supports CSV, JSON, Parquet, Avro formats. Highly parallelized. You can load the data into the multiple table at a time, and efficient for large scale data ingestion. You will be able to load the data in the large volume. So these are the things we have learnt in this session. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned to the Provoke Trainings for more exciting content like this. If you have any queries or if you need any upgraded content regarding this course, please post your queries in this below link. Here, you have to provide your full name, mobile number, mail ID, location and the course name. Once you submit this form, our team will come back to you to take your inputs from for a registration or further inquiries for this course. Thank you so much.